it's an interesting, I want to dive into that a little bit. Were
Mhm.
you getting to a point where you were getting resentful and angry and bitter? Were you at that point at one stage in your life right before you just came to terms where you accepted yourself?
I was like that for a very long time in general, as a teenager growing up. Um, I was, I was antisocial. I was introverted, hardcore. There's nothing wrong with being introverted. Uh, but I was pessimistic. I was just not healthy in any way, shape, or form, emotionally and psychologically. I was building my intelligence at the time. I like to learn things, but I didn't really have this inner strength that I talk about at that point in time. And once I finally moved out of upstate New York to Florida for the first time back around 2010,
So how old were
uh,
you when you got to Florida?
um, 22, 23
Hmm.
ish. And I was meeting all these people, and I slowly realized at that point in time that all of this hatred and whatever that I had towards every other person was just unfounded. There was no logic founded in it. You know, it's very easy for the media to say these people you should be demonizing. These people aren't people. These people are ruining whatever the X, Y, and Z. And then you go out and you meet the people, and you just realize, well, that's just not true. That's completely wrong. And since then, I've come to realize that, and I learned it pretty quickly at that point in time. I was like, but I actually love people. Variety is the spice of life. If we were all exactly the same, everything would get very boring real quick.
Right.
Just think about your favorite foods, right?
Yeah.
If we would all just eat the same food every single day of your life, that gets very, very, very boring. So because we have all these variety of people, we have various food dishes, various fashions, various pieces of art. Everybody contributes to the world in a great way. So tying back to your actual initial question, I had a lot of internal misogyny when I was initially growing up. And because society seems to teach men that, and males and boys, that being feminine makes you appear weak. You, if you appear feminine in any way, shape, or form, you're going to get stepped on. You're going to get treated less than equal, and it's just not a good thing for you to do. So I had to come to terms with, well, there's nothing wrong with femininity at all in any capacity. There's nothing wrong with women. There's nothing wrong with girls. There's nothing wrong with uh, being more feminine in general. It's all based on logical fallacies. If you actually look at the logic behind the reasons that they're hating these people and putting them down and seeing them as less than people, there's no substance to it. So coming to terms with my femininity was a really tough journey because of how heavily this toxic masculinity approach was ingrained in me at the time. You
Well,
have to
and
unlearn it.
it's also what we're taught, right? Societal measures at that point. Like, from the moment that we're born, you're supposed to like this type of person, right? You're supposed to, we can even get into ethnicities, right? Like, no, you can't be with a black person, you can't be with a Hispanic person. There's so much judgment out there, and bullying, right, as a result of it, and hate and hatred, right? So I get where you're going with this.